Yeah, welcome to Three Conservative Gimps, where we give you what we talk about everything political from dog catcher to world leaders and everything in between from a conservative point of view. So we give you the information for you to make a good decision at the ballot box. So we've got a great show for you tonight. Let's welcome all the way from Muskogee, Oklahoma. Ozzy may have been the Prince of Darkness, but Lloyd, he's the Prince of Sharpness. Let's welcome Lloyd Mendenhall.
Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone in the chat. Let's see who we got in there.
Yeah, we got a lot of people. We got TJ, as far as
Yeah,
I know.
we got TJ. We got the important one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. So,
Ah,
yeah, my God, it's been kind of crazy. Like Ozzy Osbourne, and then
Hulk
uh,
Hogan.
Hulk Hogan. Yeah,
Yep.
that was
And
surprising.
Jamal
Jamal Warner. Yeah,
That guy. Hell,
Malcolm Jamal Warner.
yes. Mhm.
Yeah,
That guy. Yeah.
yeah. And of course, then we lost Brian Wilson here earlier
Brian
this month. Yeah,
Wilson. And who was the female singer? Was that Connie Francis?
Connie Francis did, and so
Yes.
did uh
Brian Wilson, you said?
yeah,
Yeah.
I think s- I don't know if it's from the Sly and the Family Stones. One of those singers
Oh, yes.
died too
Yes.
just recently. I think one of the sisters did. So
Ah.
one of the females did.
Well, let's welcome all the way from New York State, not city. And he's still alive. He hasn't passed. He hasn't gone to the great beyond. Let's welcome the effervescent Charles Gillespie.
But I have passed gas.
Ah, okay. Yes. Welcome. And
Uh,
how is the weather there in your neck of the woods?
Well, it's really hot.
Hot.
It's like 90, and the humidity wasn't horrible the way it was like a week or 10 days ago or so, but it's still hot.
Hot.
We're
it's a
getting
dry
humidity
heat.
tomorrow.
Yeah, it's a dry heat.
It's a dry heat. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what they said when they landed on the sun. It's a dry heat.
Yeah. Fire's a dry heat too, but you don't see me backing my butt up to it.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, we were 98 or plus today, and right now it's down to, I think it's cooled down to 97 or 96, and we got, last I checked when I was talking to Alexis before the show, it's 56% humidity. So
Wow.
you know,
We
that's
were in.
actually that's actually lower today. Yesterday it was like up in the 60%, 70%
Oh boy!
humidity. So
Wow.
yeah. Hi,
Mhm.
Alexis.
Oh yeah. Let's switch
Eh,
over to the chat. We've got Alexis, we've got Charles, and we've got TJ. Welcome,
and Grant.
and Grant. Yes, that's right. And don't forget, I put a link to Alexis GoFundMe. So please drop a few bucks there to help out
Yeah.
Alexis so she could feed her animals. She's got a menagerie of pets, so she
Yeah.
really needs her. She really needs
Yeah.
our. So
It's costing her so much, even though she's using an electric car, it still cost her $20. I think each way or round trip. I can't remember now. We were talking about that. In charging tolls, parking tolls, she cost her anywhere from 10 to 20 plus dollars to park up there,
right.
and
Mhm.
and sometimes she can't stay overnight. But Jeff is actually, from what we understand, from what I understand, he's doing better than he was a few nights ago. It wasn't, she went up there Tuesday, I think it was, and he was just completely catatonic again. He just
Wow.
and then because he'd been talking Monday, but then Tuesday he was completely, well, they'd given him some Dilaudid twice,
Oh,
at least twice. And
wow.
But then she talked to the nurse yesterday, or nurse director, one of them that called, and he was up talking, or he wasn't up, but he was talking and knew who he was and knew
Mhm.
where he was and all of that. So he wasn't had absolutely no pain. So they've got the orders in that they're not supposed to give him any pain medicine unless they approve it through her.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
And
good.
his kidneys are wonky at the moment, but they've been going up and down, and they're trying to get that straightened up. And sh
Right.
he's approved to come back to a uh, acute medical care unit
Hmm.
down there in Corpus. Yeah, my
Ah,
mind blank. Gonna say San
that's
Antonio, but no, in Corpus, and
right.
which would be 20 minutes from her house.
No,
And
that's good.
but unfortunately, those big hospitals, they they have to have everybody but the good Lord himself sign off on it. I think Trump's got to sign off on it before he can be moved. I don't know. It's just, and they're not getting it done. They're just not. They've. He should have
Right.
been there. He should have been there last night down there
Right.
in Corpus. He's still there now. He's still up in Houston at MD Anderson. So her and I had a nice powwow about it's time to quit being nice. So she's gonna. I think she's gonna raise a little.
Little
A little,
ruckus there. A
yeah,
little
yeah,
cane.
yeah. It's going to be one of them come to Jesus meetings for those
Yes.
people up there tomorrow.
Hmm.
And
Yep. You go, girl.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, and
Hmm.
that was the thing. She was that's why she came home Tuesday. She went up there and she came home. She was so mad because they had him all drugged out again. And when he does that, he's and then everything starts crashing. They keep him
Yeah.
off they keep him off that, and his body seems to be holding its own or even improving. But
Right. Right.
that's
Yeah,
why,
because that medication
yeah,
suppresses,
yeah, it does.
the
Yeah,
body to heal itself. Yeah.
yeah,
Hmm.
and it's just like, and they've got some of the for a place that's supposed to be such a big cancer place, they've got some of the most inept, inconsiderate, uh, just
Right.
unqualified people. I mean, they've there's this one gal that keeps talking to her, and when they get in these little group meetings, and she's quietly, or she's Alexis behind her back. Both of us have been talking, and we've nicknamed that particular person Doctor Death.
Uh,
Well,
okay.
we need to start setting up things for end time. It's time for it's time to And there's 3 or 4 people, and that's not where he's at, and there's still some question as to his diagnosis to begin with,
Right.
because they
Hmm.
don't have a definitive diagnosis
Yeah,
yet.
they're not really sure if it's
Oh
cancer.
no, they say it is, but they don't have any evidence. They no biopsies.
Right. Hmm.
They've not done a PET scan. They've done there's no biopsy. They've got
Right.
one that has they found one up by his shoulder, a lymph node that had uh uh markers.
Metastatic.
Yeah, had some cancerous markers, but that doesn't mean it's cancer. It doesn't mean there's actual cancer cells, but you know,
Right.
so
Right.
we'll see. Hopefully she'll get them straightened out tomorrow. So,
Right.
oh,
Yeah.
hello, Brian. You're here too.
Hey, Brian. We got Waypoint, New England.
But anyways, that's what I've been talking with her quite a bit lately. Coming at you, brainstorming, trying to come up with ways to get.
Hey,
Oh,
Joel.
hey, Joel, how you doing?
Alrighty, let's jump into it. Well, the big bombshell that dropped over the weekend on Friday, Tulsi Gabbard dropped a lot of information, and it's looking like Obama was the one that orchestrated the Russia hoax. And how this all played out, it started off in December or late November after the election, and they were talking about Russian interference, and all the different agencies said no, that there was no Russian interference. They were monkeying around a little bit, but they had no. They didn't do anything to
Right.
change
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah. It was all the way up to December 8th. The
Yep.
agency said that there was no sign, no proof that they were involved with anything like that. I said,
Right.
no, there's, and then they had a meeting on December 9th. And I
Right.
only know this because I listened to Ted Cruz today, and he says, December 7th, the day they'll live in infamy. He says, I think December 9th will surpass that.
Yeah.
And it was a meeting with Obama.
Right.
And he says, and so they suddenly, right after that, started changing the narrative and
Hmm.
just kept pushing it until it was Russia, Russia, Russia.
Right. And then all the networks started,
Yeah, yeah,
spouting
yeah,
Russia Hoax, Russia, Russia,
yeah.
Russia.
And
Yeah.
Ted Cruz said something that struck me that I was watching him today. He says they don't, Obama and the left, they're not really concerned about whether Trump did it or didn't do it or what. They're not after Trump necessarily. They're trying to punish the people who voted for Trump because they're mad at us for not towing a certain ideology or a certain way of thinking. Had we followed down the path of the rhinos, like the Mitt Romneys and stuff, had we
Mhm.
stayed in that lane, that as a Republican Party stayed in for, so the voters stuck in that lane, all of a sudden we got out of both lanes, the Democrats and the Republicans, and we started voting this new mindset of making America first, and
Mhm.
he said they want to punish the voters by making what they were trying to do is make sure that Donald Trump couldn't run again, so we wouldn't have our shining beacon that is leading
Right.
us out of the swamp.
Well, here is my take on it. I think Obama, Hillary, and all those people believed they were going to win. They
Right?
believed the polls. They thought, and then when Trump won, I think Obama's ego took over, saying, "How
Oh
the
yeah,
fuck did this white man beat Hillary?"
yeah.
And plus, he's going to undo his legacy.
His legacy, yeah,
And so he wanted to put a monkey wrench into it and make sure that he would not be able to implement any of the things he talked about doing.
right, right. And I
And
think
they're
that,
still doing it.
yeah, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. And they're because they part of the problem is they have no, without Obama, they absolutely have no
No
platform.
leadership.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's no leadership, and Obama is now becoming tainted fruit. You know, so both the Clintons and the Obamas, they're no longer years of having the same old, same old. Trump was different, just like Reagan.
Right. Yep.
Exactly. Yeah, and we'll talk because later on we'll talk about the polls. I want to bring that up too, and that's
Right.
a thought I had between what the polls are showing, but we'll talk about that after we in another segment. So,
Okay.
but
And
remind me to bring up the Reagan polls.
okay.
Yeah,
And yeah, so I I was thinking, it could be Obama's. He's got a huge ego. He really thinks he's God. He came out of the manger, and that was one of my jokes. I would say is he's our first president born in a manger. Yeah, Lincoln
yeah,
was born in his father's log cabin.
yeah.
Kennedy spilled log cabin syrup in his father's Lincoln.
And he also had a secretary named Lincoln,
Yes, that's right.
and
Mm-hmm.
Lincoln had a secretary named Kennedy,
Mm-hmm. That's true.
and all them other weird conspiracy, weird
Yeah.
stuff that goes on. There's a lot of things that just ironies or oddities, whatever you want to call them.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways,
Yep.
yeah, Obama is so, which
Well, he said he was going to be. He's going to change the country,
Yeah.
and he
Like,
did.
oh, he did. Yeah. Not
He
for the better though.
purposely divided the country,
Yeah, he split it in two, and
split it, and
he 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 actually set race relations back by a good 50, 60 years.
right. Mm-hmm.
You know, the problem is a lot of these black people now, not the older generation that did the marching, but the ones that are in their late 20s to their mid 50s, you
Yeah.
know, but 20s, a lot of those are starting to look at things differently, and they see how the past has hurt them so badly,
Right.
how the Democrats have hurt them. And I
Right.
heard one gal yesterday says, "You got to remember, this is the party that started the Triple K."
Yes.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
she
Right.
says, and her slogan is, "I was born black, not Democrat."
Nah. There you go.
And so
Oh,
yeah,
yeah. Thanks for reminding me. Alexis, you are now a moderator. You are blue. Did not realize that. Thank you, Joe, or whoever
yeah,
reminded me of that. Yeah.
yeah. I think.
That
Oh,
was
and
neat.
welcome, Captain Joe.
Captain Joe.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. He's in
Yep.
here somewhere. Yeah, there. Anyways,
So
yeah,
yeah, Obama, he didn't like,
and yeah, and Trump is
Obama
just
kept the economy, kind of at a snail's pace, hardly any growth, and he did have a couple of recessions during the 8 years he was in,
right,
because
right.
a recession is two consecutive quarters of negative
Yeah,
growth.
negative
And
growth.
he had
Yeah,
those. Everybody said, "Oh, he had a great economy." No, he didn't.
no,
Under Trump, the only time the economy got bad was right around COVID,
yeah,
and that was,
yeah.
you know,
Well, and by then they had pushed between the press and the oligarchs that on the Democratic Party, they'd pushed the Russian collusion that people were starting to say, there's no smoke without fire. There's probably and
yeah,
they played it good. They played, you got to give them kudos, man. They played that well.
hmm
But for whatever reason, uh, all that information has been in classified documents, and now it's been released. And I
right,
listened to, yeah, Ted Cruz. It's just not that. Well, they released that, and Tulsi's up there speaking. Ted Cruz, and I don't know if it was Cruz or if it no. Anyways, they said they had this information, and
hmm
they was when they were asking. I don't know, one of the either the head of the FBI or the attorney
Comey
general. Yeah, I think they were asking Comey some questions, and
or Clapper,
yeah, it was one of the two. I think it's Comey they were asking,
yeah,
and they asked a certain question, and he says, "Oh, no, no." Well, they already had the answer,
hmm
but he perjured himself under oath, and there's Obama. They're not going to do anything to him.
yeah,
He might get a pass under because of the immunity
presidential immunity,
presidential immunity that
yeah,
after the Supreme Court made that. And uh, but on the other hand, he may not. There's questions. I don't know that he'll get prosecuted, but I have an idea. You were going to see some, you know. I always go back to the movie with Michael.
Michael Douglas,
Yeah, thank you, Michael
yeah.
Douglas, in
Oh,
which
ta-
yeah, the American president, the American
oh, that
president,
one. Okay.
and there was I said he's making a comment because he'd had his girlfriend spend the night. He says, "It's not like I burnt down the White House." He says, although there's times I want to do it. Michael J. Fox says, "I want to know right. I want everybody to know right now. I will have nothing to do with anything illegal. It's guys like me that end up going to medium security prisons." because he was the press secretary,
Uh-huh.
or the speechwriter or something. He says, I want you to know right now, and that's who's going to go to jail.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the press secretaries, Comey and Clapper, or Clapper's girlfriend that he was writing to and said we were going to destroy Trump, keep him from, and that the things that he said in that makes a hell of a lot more sense now that we're hearing this other side of things. He says we've got plans in place, he'll never get reelected,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
and this was part of the plans, and now it's all coming together. People might forget about that, but in his text that he was sending to his girlfriend, we've got plans in place to take him down. So, and
Right.
unfortunately, it didn't quite work out the way they thought.
Yep.
And
Mm-hmm.
then they,
Yeah, those darn Americans. They voted the wrong way again. Yeah.
Well, and what I never understood is why didn't Hillary run a second time instead of Joe Biden? Why didn't she run?
Yeah, I was kind of thinking about
I've always
that.
wondered that.
But then maybe she knew that, hey, if she did, then it might look a little suspicious, and it might raise a lot of red flags. And then here Biden could be the fall guy. They knew that he was on the downside.
Well, and now there's so supposedly in all this information, supposedly the Russians have some information that Hillary has been she's had some mental breakdowns, and she's on medication to control her anger, and it sounds like she's bipolar, which
okay, gotcha.
Which sounds like something really nasty that Bill would probably be involved with, but
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But yeah. Anyways, but yeah, I mean this whole thing is that's why I liked what Ted Cruz, he actually had the declassified papers in front of him and was reading from them, and was able to pinpoint all this information, that was in these classified documents. So it wasn't just Tulsi Gabbard, because now they're trying to spin it. Well, she's just trying to get back on Trump's good side. She was never off of his good side,
Right.
They've taken things, and that's what the press is trying to do. They're trying to divide, they're trying to divide the Trump administration, like they did with the vice president the last time. That worked last time. It's not working this time. Because Trump was prepared this time. He had all of his. He had 4 years to plan.
Right.
But yeah, so.
Yeah, you're right.
You're right, Alexis. Yeah, they're absolutely they're absolutely
oh, they're screwed.
A mess. Yeah, they're screwed.
They're a mess.
I mean, when they start talking Hunter Biden maybe being the presidential nominee for 28, are you kidding me?
Oh man.
Because he knew how to use the F-bomb. That's the one thing. All them Democrats were getting out there trying to do that cursing, and it sounded so unnatural because they didn't, they'd never done it in open. Hunter goes on, and that was the most real thing he did was he just had that interview of his. I mean, he knows how to cuss, and he knows how to do it properly. The rest of those idiots have no clue, Although Lyndon Johnson was pretty good at it.
Yeah. And also, this whole thing has a backlash on the legacy media, and it's damaged them greatly.
Yeah.
I mean, look at the late night shows. They're falling apart. They just canceled Colbert, and it looks like Jimmy Kimmel's on the way out. And I got the ratings here in front of me. Where did I put those? Yeah, I mean their ratings were horrible. Let's see, I got the wrong.
You grabbed the wrong notepad?
Wrong notepad. Wrong notepad.
Crack is a clean
Yeah.
drug. Oh yeah, yeah. I think
Huh.
that alludes to something that Hunter said in that interview.
Ah.
He's still mad that they got his cocaine there at the White House. He's still mad about that.
Uh-huh.
You know, he must have been stoned out. How do you drop a bag of? You're in the White House. How do you end up dropping a bag of cocaine like that?
Mm-hmm.
Unless one of the people was delivering it for him and left it there, and he didn't know about it,
Yeah.
and somebody else found it.
Yeah.
His dealer delivered it on the tour. Anybody
Mm-hmm.
watching? Which is why they suddenly couldn't find any tapes that showed that area.
Right.
It's sort of like that 8 minute or that 18 missing minutes that Nixon had on his
Right.
audio tapes.
Here's the ratings. I found it. Gutfeld, number 1 with 3.6 million. Colbert is 2.4. So Gutfeld's over 1 million over Colbert. And Jimmy Kimmel, 1.8. Jimmy Fallon, 1.0. And Seth Meyers, 0.94.
Yeah, and the one thing the press has been pushing is that, and we discussed this on Uncle Bill's show the other night. They're pushing that Colbert is number one in his time slot, or he's number one of late night talk host, but that's in his time slot. He's
Right.
not number one overall
Mm-hmm.
because he is in the 11:30 Eastern time slot, whereas
Gutfeld is
Gutfeld is
midnight,
at 10 o'clock.
10 o'clock. Okay.
10 o'clock Eastern.
Okay. Gotcha.
Because it's 9
Yeah.
o'clock my time and would be, I don't know what time. Colorado is one of those that you're right in the middle, and sometimes you get it off the West Coast feed, sometimes you get it off the,
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
they adjust it for whatever your time zone is. So
Right.
what time does he come on? What time does he come on there in Colorado?
You know what? I don't watch him live. I usually watch him
Okay. Yeah.
on YouTube. And it's usually a day later.
Right.
And
Right.
because I don't have cable, so I don't get Fox.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So
Okay.
yeah, so I think what's going to happen are the late night talk shows are going to go away.
I think they are. Yeah.
I think so because, we talked about it the other night that the platform has changed. There are more places for people to go to. And I think that has really done a number on traditional television, which that'd be
has.
over the air television.
Yeah.
Where you got
Yeah. It has.
streaming, you got digital TV, you got cable, and so that's what's doing it. And YouTube, YouTube's the number one streaming service right now, and so they're putting a lot of hurt on Colbert.
Yeah.
Because I lean towards Gutfeld and Fox. I get his feed all the time. I don't see anything about Kimmel or Colbert unless they said something really outrageous that ended up on Fox. And
right.
now Colbert wants to double down. He wants to, I'm taking the gloves off. Oh,
Well,
great.
some people have alluded to this, and I think there may be some truth. Johnny Carson was
yes,
and he was entertaining. His jokes were funny.
Yes, he wasn't a pundit, and if he did anything political, he did down the middle.
Right. He made fun of every president that was in office,
Right. Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, but I know what I was going to say. some of the that some people are suspecting that this is uh, a publicity stunt by CBS to keep Colbert on, and to boost his ratings. If they can get his ratings up, where he's making. So right now he's losing money. He's
Yeah.
costing CBS and Paramount a lot of money.
Right. $40 million. Yep.
Yeah.
Sure are. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And you just can't keep pumping money into something like that, for a long period of time. I'm trying to think of what, I guess some people spend a lot of money on their boats and they still keep them around even though they're cost more than they're worth. But,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, this is a business thing. And I think Paramount is trying to merge with, I forgot who they're trying to merge with.
Bright Dance.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
And I mean, this media is not what used to be when we were kids, Lloyd, or when Charles was a kid. I mean,
yeah, no, it was a whole different. It was a whole different story back then, and it really does. It goes back to I often think about that, and I often quote him on here, and that's during Lyndon Johnson's when they were building when he was kept escalating the war, in Vietnam, and finally one night at the end of that, Walter Cronkite says, "Before I close, I'd like to say something," and he did an opinion piece.
Yep.
And that was the first time any of them had ever done that on the air.
Mm-hmm.
And he looks back years later after things started getting so, before he died in his last years, he talked about that was the biggest mistake he ever made. Because when Lyndon Johnson heard that, he was shooting at running for president for that, for his elected second term. It would have been his, technically, he would have had 2.5 terms in there because it wasn't quite. But 63 and the election was in 64, so he did get about a little over 2 years in there, not quite, about a year and a half maybe. So, and so he could, and by law he could run again, on his own terms. But after Walter Cronkite said that, he says, "I cannot support the president of the United States and his actions in Vietnam." And he says, and of course, Johnson and Walter Cronkite had been pretty good friends up to that point. And he says, "If I've lost Cronkite, I've lost the nation." And that was when he says, "I won't be running again." That was the one thing that made Johnson not run again, which put Hubert Humphrey.
Yep.
Yeah, Hubert Humphrey. Yeah.
Yep. He was up against Nixon.
And Nixon won.
Nixon won in a landslide in both elections. Yeah.
Yes. And things would have been a lot different, but I don't know at what point they decided they needed to get information from a psychiatrist about whatever,
Right.
I don't know why they decided to break into the Watergate Hotel. I mean, that was it. I've never understood the reasoning behind that. But had that not happened, and even if it had happened, if he'd have just came out and said, "Yeah, I had mentioned something, I had, but instead he said, "No, I'm not a crook. I didn't have anything to do with that."
I am not a crook.
Not a crook. Yeah.
Not a crook.
Yeah. And compared to what's happened in the last 20 years or 30 years, he's nothing,
Right.
Especially with Biden, my God, so much more is coming out about it every day. It's like,
now I've been watching a lot of clips of interviews with Nixon. This is several years after he left the White House. And one of the things that really struck me, he was talking about, remember when Eisenhower said, be wary of the military
industrial complex.
He said, beware of the media industrial complex
Yeah.
because they could lie and change the truth. And you know
Yeah.
what? And he was right. Looking back on it now, I mean, the biggest lie was the Russian hoax, which they just kept feeding us day after day after day.
Yeah.
And you know what? It's hurt their credibility. Even the stations like CNN and MSNBC and so forth, their ratings are just dreadful.
Yeah.
You know, their news outlets are just, they're below 1 million people.
Yeah.
Some are in the hundreds of thousands
Yeah.
per
Yeah.
viewing, and it's like, wow, that is
Yeah.
really
Well,
great.
they've done nothing but spew hatred and lies for the
Right,
last 8 to 10 years now. You
right.
know,
Say,
and
oh, he's a racist. He's a
yeah,
racist. He's a bigoted homophobe. And it's like,
yeah.
wait a minute, you know,
He doesn't
15
like
years
smart
ago,
women.
yeah, 15 years ago, Donald Trump was the darling of the left. They loved him. The NAACP gave him awards for
Yes.
his contribution to the black communities and his contributions to the gay communities. And it wasn't until when he went down that escalator, that's when they threw
Well,
that all out. And they,
I saw it was the press corps dinner, you know, that they have every year.
mhm,
The media the I think it's called the press corps dinner where the president gets up and makes jokes and,
right,
Yep.
you know. Well, the last one or just before or Trump had not announced yet at that time whether he was going to run. You know, it was kind of the jokes were going around that he might, he may not. He said, "You don't know." Well,
uh-huh,
he was at that Obama's press corps dinner,
right,
and Obama sat there or stood there and just made joke after joke after joke about Donald Trump. People around were and other people that came up to speak, they were doing it, you know. And there was just one joke after another, and they were pretty insulting. Donald Trump just sat there.
hmm,
Everybody was laughing and clapping and cheering, and Donald Trump just
right,
he went home that night and says, "I'm running for president." And within the next day or two, he came down the escalator.
mm-hmm,
He said that was the point where he decided he would run for president.
right,
They sat there and he hadn't made the announcement and hadn't really made his decision yet.
mm-hmm,
But that night was the night because they just sat there and, he says, "You want to?" His thing was, "You want to see what I can really do?" You know, and they all thought it was a joke when he did say he
mm-hmm,
was when he came down the escalator. Yeah, right. Well, he'll never get it.
yeah,
And now all of those press corps people are lucky if they have a job, and
mm-hmm,
most at least in the press,
mm-hmm. Yeah, and what was I going to say? Yeah, so they loved him before that, and then now
Yeah,
he's this racist, and yeah, and now that they've even tried to assassinate him, they
twice.
twice,
Yeah.
and they've had Congress people say, you go down there and you get in
Oh
front of
yeah.
those cabinet members and you tell them you're not welcomed here.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
and
the left has done more to incite riots than the
right,
right. The things that the left does and has been doing for the last 8.5, 10 years
hmm,
is far worse than what happened with January 6th.
right, hmm,
You
yep.
know,
So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how this all plays out, and I predict the next presidential election with JD Vance, it's going to be the same shit. They're
Yeah.
going to do the same thing to him, and it's not going to matter who the Republican is.
Right.
They're going to jump all over him and tell him, well, oh, he's worse than Hitler. Oh my God. He's a threat to democracy.
Yeah.
No, the Democrats are the threat to
Well,
democracy.
and the thing is the American people aren't going to believe in that. They're not going to.
Yes,
The
that's right.
average, you know.
And I think
Now
that's why Trump
Trump's
won.
Trump's poll numbers right now are down, but and I was going to talk about that because we're talking about Trump now.
Okay, go ahead.
His poll numbers are down, but that's because he's doing what he said he would do. He's doing things, and it's not going as fast as because we're an impatient bunch of people,
Right. Mm-hmm.
and so it's not going as fast as we would like it. So naturally, his poll numbers are down. But if you remember Ronald Reagan in his first term, his poll numbers were abysmal. They were terrible.
Yep.
And or in his first or second term, but Trump's in his second term. It was an interruption there for 4 years, but the thing is it's irregardless what his poll numbers that are being brought up, and that's done by the media.
Yeah.
But when you ask the person today, if the election was held today, would you vote for Donald Trump? And they overwhelmingly say yes.
Yeah.
They may not be getting what they want right away, and so their poll numbers, they may not approve, but it's like I heard somebody say that, well, they want a closed border, but they don't want grandma being sent back to South America, that she'd been here and raised her kids and her grandkids, and now she's being deported. Well, first off, there hasn't been one grandma sent down there like that. That has been debunked. But they don't. Why? I don't understand why people watch legacy media anymore, or watch CNN or MSNBC.
Leftists. That's who's watching it, because it's
disaster porn for them.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, they want to be assured. Oh, yeah, I agree with that. They're saying it and all that, and
yeah.
Would
you call that, Charles?
For lack of a better term, I called it disaster porn.
That's what I thought.
Because that's what they want. That's what they want to hear. They want to hear that
doom and gloom and disaster.
Right.
That's coming to conservatives and people on the right, people that voted for Donald Trump and et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the thing. The problem that the Democrats are having was, and I've said that for years. I've been calling them that for a long time.
That goes back to Bill Clinton or Clinton News Network.
Clinton News Network, yeah. But Trump's done. I was trying to think. I was going to answer what Alexa said about Trump has done more in 6 months. That's the problem. He keeps winning. He keeps getting these wins.
Yeah, I'm tired
Columbia.
of this.
Look at Columbia University today.
What happened?
Oh, they've agreed to pay $200 million in fines and $20 million to their Jewish instructors or Jewish teachers that felt threatened.
Right.
And they're going to crack down on the anti-Semitic stuff.
Well,
because it's like they said, Donald Trump says, you've been getting $3.4 billion a year from us, and we'd be willing to give it to you again, but you're going to do something for us.
Right.
You're going to be nice to the Jews, and you're going to make this right. And so Columbia they've and this just came out this afternoon that they're paying $200 million in fines to the U.S. government and $20 million in reparations to the Jewish Jewish instructors and teachers
Right.
that were there, or professors, whatever they want to call. I can't remember the exact word, but anybody who was Jewish and felt threatened or, you know,
Yeah.
scared to work there, and so
Or
those.
the students too.
Yeah, I think that, yeah, I don't know. I didn't read what it said about students. I don't know if it addressed that yet,
Right.
but so if they, and it's just like uh everything he's done, with the tariffs is, we'd
Hmm.
really, we've been helping you guys out and we're going to quit doing that, and on top of that, we're going to charge you a little extra to ship your stuff in here.
Right.
But I don't have to do that if you would let us say in Japan, we'd like to sell you some rice. We know you like rice, so we'd like to sell
Hmm.
you some. And,
Yep.
you got those little cars and you're really good at making cars, but so are we. And we'd like the opportunity to sell some of our cars over
Right.
there.
Hmm.
And that's what he's doing. He's, and Jesse Waters said it this afternoon. He says, it's like his son. He says, Jesse Jr. gets an allowance. Okay. $5 allowance every week for doing chores.
Right.
But he said, but it was time to pay him, and he holds out the $5 bill and he says, "Here's your allowance, but there's something you're going to do for me." "Oh, what's that?" He says, "I want you to polish the silver." I don't know how. I says, "Well, then I guess you're going to have to learn."
Mhm.
And next thing he knew, there he is polishing the silver candelabra. Now, mind you, that was probably bullshit. Is I doubt Jesse has a silver candelabra in his house, or that he
Right.
would make his kids. But the point was, is
Those
you know,
things. Yeah.
you've been giving them money, but now you're asking them to actually put a little extra effort into that for
Right.
that money, and
Right.
or you won't give it to them. You'll
Right.
withhold it. All right,
Hmm.
I'll withhold this until you finally
Hmm.
pick. And they're like, oh, well, let's see what we can work out. You
Okay.
know,
And he also had the president of the Philippines there,
yeah,
uh, President Marcos,
yeah,
and Marcos had a lot of really good things to say, and I guess Trump's also uh, reduced or lifted the tariffs on. I had no idea that we were buying anything from the Philippines, but Bill and I, we were talking about last night on my other show. Philippines, they import a lot of cement, and I did not know that. And
yeah.
that's their number one import that they send to the United States. That and they're the
Oh,
number one exporter of rice in Asia. Hmm.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
And I mean, it's changing the Trump, and this is the problem. He keeps having these wins, one win, one thing after another, and he keeps winning. And the Democrats are going, but that's never going to work. And when it does, like, oh, well, I didn't see that coming, and
yeah,
because they have, they're sort of like all of the television writers and movie writers that went on strike.
right.
They went on strike for more wages or for
Hmm.
better working conditions or whatever the hell they were bitching about.
Hmm.
The problem was they hadn't been doing their job properly in the first place because
Hmm.
they had not had an original thought in the last 20 years. It was the remake of Ghostbusters, the remake
Right.
of this, and the remake of that,
Hmm.
TV series. Hey, Star Trek, Strange New Worlds, guess what? That's still a Star Trek show, and it's a remake. A
Hmm.
remake of the beginnings of Captain Kirk.
Yeah.
Hell, Star Trek, the Kelvin timeline.
Yeah.
That's a rehash.
Yeah.
Everything, you know,
Hmm.
everything is a remake. It's just like,
Well, that's because the franchise was Star Trek,
yeah,
and
I'm just
that
using that
was
as an
the
example.
idea, and so they're building on it. It's like, all
Right.
right,
But they just like they remade a MacGyver TV series, Hawaii Five O,
right, Hawaii
all of the,
Five O.
yeah,
Yeah. Mhm.
Ghostbusters, again and again.
What was?
The Fantastic Four,
Magnum PI.
Magnum PI. Yeah,
Wow.
and
I actually like that new version.
I hadn't even watched it.
Yeah.
But
Hawaii 5-0 was pretty good, and
I watched a few of those. Yeah, it was okay.
yeah,
But the thing is, my point is these guys have not really done anything imaginative.
it's kind of hard to do because you've done every
Right.
genre.
But
Yeah,
every genre, yes. But what they're doing is they're remaking old films and
right.
changing it up a little bit,
Like Shakespeare.
Well,
Shakespeare he's the guy that laid the foundation, and everybody is taking
yeah,
bits and pieces of
right,
Shakespeare.
right. I'm not saying that because with Shakespeare, that's, you know, people who follow that and do that's a style, and he had a complete style of the way he formed a story, the way he formed a play, the way he formed
Right.
a poem, and
Mhm.
he set the standards up for that.
Right.
But
Hmm.
the problem is so many of the Hollywood, the only thing they're doing now is they're taking older shows and they're remaking them with a new ideology.
Right. That's right. I mean, look at Star Trek Discovery.
Discovery,
Oh
yeah,
God, that was like one of the worst versions of Star Trek I've seen, especially towards the end. It just got really
yeah.
ridiculously woke, and then to have Stacey
That's another thing
Abrams
they're
as
taking out
the
of Columbia.
president of Earth, I mean, that really galled me. And it's like, man,
Yeah. Well, also, Columbia is also dropping their DEI, and
okay,
I believe they're keeping the men out of women's sports there.
oh,
But
that's good.
a big win is the Olympics said that men cannot compete in women's sports. So,
Oh, that's good.
and they were for it, but now they've come out and
Right.
said no.
Yeah,
So,
they had that male boxer and the female,
yeah,
and
yeah.
beat the
Well,
crap out of one of the female boxers.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's a Russian male
yeah.
that liked to wear a dress. You know,
Hmm. Hmm.
so yeah. But I mean, yeah. There's a movie company that they do. You find them like on YouTube, free movies and stuff. I don't know
Hmm.
if it's Apex. I think might be the name of it.
Right.
And they take I mean, they've stolen. I mean, this is
Hmm.
pure plagiarism of all the hit movies, and then they put in, they're like a B movie. They're like one of those, you know, indie film
That's
type things.
Asylum. Asylum does that.
Asylum. That was it. Asylum.
Silent. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
Asylum does that.
And they're
And
actually not horrible about it
they're not
sometimes,
horrible.
you know.
They're very entertaining. It's just that, you know, they
Hmm.
just they just plagiarize these other
Right.
shows. But they are entertaining. I watch a lot of them,
I
But
want to see that Star Trek continues. Now they actually use the original set,
yes, yes,
and that's what I like about it. And
right.
uh, I've seen the synopsis of the show, and I go, "That's interesting." They're taking the original Star Trek and just going out until the end of their 5-year run.
Right, right.
And one of the actors who's no longer with us is Grant Imahara. If you don't remember who he's from,
Yes.
Mythbusters.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah, he plays Sulu.
yeah,
Yeah. Hmm. So
yeah,
I thought, oh, that's interesting. Yeah.
yeah.
So, and they also got the daughter. I mean, the actual daughter of the actress that played the Romulan captain. Remember
Oh
the Enterprise incident?
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
she was exactly like her mother.
Yeah.
yeah.
And I thought, oh wow, I gotta see that. Yeah.
Well, I think though all that's available to watch free on YouTube.
Yeah, I think it is.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I gotta go in and subscribe to it, and then I'll get
Right.
all the different series, the different episodes.
Right.
Go
Right.
back to number one, and then follow. I don't know how many episodes they did, or
Right.
even if it's still going.
Yeah. Well, you
No,
know,
it's not. It's not. I'm sorry. It's not still going. When Paramount had a hissy fit over Axanar, they had to shut down, and then somewhere along the line, I don't really completely understand this, but the guy who was the driving force behind it, and the guy who also played Captain Kirk, the guy's name is Vince Mignogna or something. I'm not sure how it's pronounced.
right.
He somehow got in trouble with almost like a Me Too kind of thing.
Oh, okay.
But I don't know if any of it's true or anything like
Right.
that. I just know in very broad strokes this is
No.
what happened.
But what
So
is
there's no more.
happening?
There's no more. There's well, just
They
that.
ended it.
Yeah, they ended it sadly.
Okay, all right. Yeah, it'll
They
be
did
interesting
like a
to see.
sequel to Who Mourns for Adonis
Yeah.
with the actual
okay.
actor that played Apollo. You know,
Okay, I guess they did 11.
they were really swinging for the fences, and
Right.
I think they pretty much succeeded.
Yeah.
Right.
As much as a bunch of non-professionals are.
Well, there were
Could.
quite a few independent videos that were done, or episodes that were done by Nichelle Nichols and Walter Koenig and stuff like that,
Mhm.
in which where they were now officers, and I think even Sulu was in on that.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah.
George Takei,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Takei.
Yeah.
Takei is okay. Takei means he's rich, and he's not. He says.
Yeah.
I only know
Yeah.
that from his book. I read his book.
Decay is
Uh,
what you'll be doing after he
yeah,
dies.
yeah.
You'll decay in his
DK,
grave.
yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, George Takei was involved with that, and it was like a continuation, and they did
Right.
quite a few, and they started out and they were actually pretty interesting, but again, it Paramount, flexing their
Hey,
muscles
Brad.
and oh, hey, Brad, yeah, yeah. But
Oh,
anyways,
Brad.
yeah.
Yeah. By the way,
So,
Brad, Brad gave me a super chat last night. So
oh,
thank you, Brad,
awesome,
for that $2.
right?
Will go in the coffers.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I caught just a little bit of your show. I forgot you were even doing one, and I caught
Yeah.
the tail because
Yeah.
Alexis and I have been
It's
talking, and
right.
I was getting off to go watch Bill Thomas, and
Uh,
well,
I
fix
do
me
it
something to eat.
before the
Yeah,
show.
right. Fix me something to eat, and then go watch. And so I caught just a little bit of yours, and I thought, well, I need to go ahead because it popped up, and what the hell's he doing a show on which night?
Yeah.
And I forgot.
It's every other
You're
week.
right, because Johnny Droneflyer does it the other
Right.
weeks. Yeah,
Hmm. That's right. I
yeah.
was supposed to have James Tanner, but they have a typhoon going on,
Oh, is that what?
and that's
Well, I saw you were showing a lot of his videos.
well, they're my videos
Your videos from when you were there. Yeah,
when I
yeah,
was there, and I explained that James is supposed to be on, but he told me they've been having a week's worth of nonstop heavy rain.
yeah, yeah.
And today I looked at the satellite, and it looked like the typhoon is just leaving the Philippines and heading
Right.
towards China. And I'm like, wow, yeah. But down where Irene is, no rain. They had a few heavy, days of heavy rain. That's it. Nothing like what was going on in
Yeah.
up
Well.
the James neck of the
Yeah.
woods. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, so hopefully we'll get him on next time.
Yeah. I'd like
Yeah,
to see him.
yeah.
Been a
And
while.
well, yeah. It's been a while. We'll talk about his channel. We'll kind of remiss, talk about how he started, and uh, if you get a chance, go to his channel and go to episode 1 to where he's got his lot and they just cleared it.
Yeah,
And each episode is each day where they're doing something on the lot. And I did that for 6 or 7 months. I watched that, and I get home from work and I go, oh yeah, let's see what James is doing.
I can't really give him a hard time about being an old hippie now.
Yeah. Well, he's cut his hair, so he doesn't have that ponytail anymore.
Right, yeah.
Well, guys, we've done a little over an hour. I want to thank everybody in the chat. And please don't forget to throw a few bucks in for Alexis GoFundMe. And Alexis, thank you for coming to the chat. God bless you and Jeff. And just wish good thoughts and good vibes your way. Take care, everybody, and God bless. Good night.
Take care, folks. Good night, folks. Have a good week.
Weekend. There.